Right, catch up time. It's been a while. I feel like I haven't spoken to you lot for ages about fishing, and I've done a lot of it. But we're going to talk about one event today. Catch up on one event that has been probably the highlight of my year so far. Yeah, I'm going to say it's been the best bit of the year so far, and that is UK Champs. Final round at UK Champs was at Barston Lakes, always at Barston Lakes final round last Thursday. So we went there to fish on that, but it had gone really well leading up to it. We had 3 good rounds at Hallcroft, Makins and Rookery. I mean, absolutely ridiculous days fishing at all. I think my lowest weight was 150 odd pounds. So it had been a phenomenal league that I've proper loved doing. Like really, really. I've not done it for a few years because it always used to clash. But despite there being a lot of travelling involved for me, it's just been mega. I've loved like the new venues, loads of room, good fishing off 99% of where you're going to do. It was just so good. I really, really like that one. Andy and Bob have done a mega job of running that one. And it's just, yeah, really good. Late draw time as well, 10:30, that makes the travelling a little bit easier. I've loved it. I really, really have getting back into the swing of things on that. But anyway, last round, Barston Lakes, and we were doing all right. So I'd had 2 wins in a second, so I was second overall with 4 points. Tom Calladine was winning. He was on 3 points. He'd won his section all 3 times. And then just behind me, so I was on 4. Just behind me, there were 3 anglers. Matty Pillay, Jimmy Brooks, I can't remember who else. Anyway, so we're doing all right, but there's a pack that could definitely catch up, but we've got a really, really good chance of going into it. As I say, the last round is at Barston, which phenomenal venue, but oh my God, it can be a moody bugger on its day. You never know where the fish are going to be, and you have to draw well in terms of the peg that you draw, but you also have to draw where the fish are in the section for the right type of fit. And it's a tricky one. It can be very, very tricky. It can really, really bite you in the arse, Barston can, if it wants to, if you draw wrong area and get your tactics wrong or whatever else. But for me, it didn't. I mean, I drew a lovely one. I drew 32 on the day, which is actually, for anyone that doesn't go or has been Barston or whatever, it's on the point of the island. It's on the riverbank on the point of the island, an area that can chuck up. It regularly throws up an odd winner. Doesn't often win the match, but it often chucks up a big weight. And say, the match is irrelevant to me. All I wanted to do was win the section, and I was actually the end peg in my section on 32. My section was to my left, to like 20, 22, something like that. But I've got some room to my right because they leave the island out, and I've actually got 4 or 5 pegs empty. 37 was the next one in. So I've got a bit of room because they leave the island out. I was well happy. Really, really was well happy. And weirdly there as well on 32, what happens is the bank to my left, all the section to my left is all step back from me. So I'm further out than everyone sort of thing. It's on a big, not a point, but it's the lake sweeps round. So everyone else is further back. So you feel that any fish that come into your left, they always get to you before the other anglers, if that sort of makes sense, because you're sort of further out into the middle of the lake. So yeah, more than happy. I set up more kit than I've ever set up for any match in my life, I reckon. It was ridiculous, the kit I took to me peg, but it became a very, very simple match. In the main tactic at Barston at the minute is slapping. So I've started off slapping and I've caught 3. I think I mugged 1, I think I caught 2 slapping, just on the spot. 1 F1, 2 big carp, lovely start. First time I've ever had a good start at Barston slapping. First time I've even caught at slapping at Barston. So I caught a few of them. Fed some pellets as well. Wayne Sharman, I've got to give him a little thank you. Wayne from Lane's Tackle had spoke to me and he said he'd drawn 44 a few weeks ago. He said he caught really well on bottom. I was like, oh, that's different. I mean, he'd caught 140 pounder F1s, I think he said. So I thought I'll put a rig in on deck. And I've gone on quick on bottom after I've caught these fish shallow. And I've caught an F1 like 3 pounds. I thought, that's weird. But then I couldn't catch another. After that, it did go flat and a bit tricky. So I threw a feeder to an island, or just off the island, probably about 10 metres off the island where it's a bit deeper. Felt like it was really shallow on the island. Came down a little bit. And I've had 5 fish there. 1 big and about 15 and some small ones. And with an hour and a half gone, I've probably got 50 pounds. So I'm absolutely flying. The section's fishing quite tricky. There's like 20, 30 pounds next best in the section. I think Dale might have had 50, but we were well up there. I was flying and I felt in control. And then the wind dropped and I came back on my pole. And once I came back on my pole with sort of, it was close to 3 hours of the match to go, I think. I'd probably fished pole line at 40.5, swapping between slapping, an odd mugger, very, very, very odd mugger now and again. I've actually, tell you the truth, while I've been fishing a feeder, that's what made me come off it, is that 2 casts on the bounce. I've caught 5 on a feeder, and then 2 casts on the bounce. I've chucked my feeder out, and the first one I'm sinking my line, and I can see a carp swimming around. So I'm chucking a good way. I'm probably chucking 60 metres, 50, 60 metres. So I've seen this carp twice. I've done it in 2 casts. I've cranked my feeder in as fast as I can, threw my rod up my bank, picked my mugging rig up, and I've nailed this carp, like 14 pound, big massive one. I did that twice in 2 casts, and I thought, I'm wasting my time throwing that feeder, I might as well. There was enough fish moving on the pole now to sit and catch them, so that's what I did. Swapped my pole line, caught several fish shallow, probably 5 or 6 fish shallow, and then went back on the bottom, and I caught really well on bottom, and I've actually ended up catching 10 carp on the bottom, 10 carp shallow, and 30 pound of accidental skimmers in between, just by fishing up and down. I've had a bit of a mishap halfway through when Andy Ford's been with me with all the, who does Andy wait for? BT Sport cameras. They're all on me. Nigel Harry's behind me as well. They're all there, and I've hooked a big one on pole. I was on the bottom, but I've got proper kit on still. And this fish, I've played it for a while, and I've got it to, I've still got 30 metres of pole sort of, but it's going to me left, and I've got a big tree here to me left. And I've tried to shit back as fast as I could as it's going round, but it's pulled me all the way around this fish, and then it pulled me that hard that my number 5 touched the tree. And as soon as my number 5 touched the tree, things exploded. I mean, half my number 5 section and the top 4 attached to it fell off into the lake. But I couldn't see it. I mean, I know it's gone, and it's round this corner. Nige is actually, you poking me in the ear, Andrew. Nige's hurdled it, jumped into the lake for me, grabbed my pole, and I've actually he's pulled this pole back round through the bush, helped me get it through the bush, and I played this fish, big, massive, probably about 14, 15 pound it were, but I've had to put it back. You know what I mean? If Nige hadn't saved it for me, I'd have lost top 5, and that fish would have been towing top 5 round, so not what any of us would have wanted, but yeah, I've had to, releasing a fish of that size in that sort of match at that point, that wasn't nice, but got to be done and all that. The last thing that I was ever going to do is put that in my net. So yeah, plodded on, fished up and down all day, had the bestest day ever. I mean, I've ended up weighing 201 pound, that when I weighed in, I thought I'd won section. I thought, yeah, job done. No chance of, saying that, I didn't know what the other results were, but I thought I've done the best I could do. But I actually got beat. Dales actually had 210 pound. He had 76 pound of skimmers, I think he had, to boost his weight up, plus a boatload of carp as well. So Dales won the section, so I finished second, which luckily finishing second meant I couldn't have been beat by any of the pack behind me, because even if they won the section, I'd beat everyone on weight, because I had I think I had like 100 kilo in the end, advantage on anyone on weight, so we were all right. And excuse me, I knew I'd be second, and then just as I've weighed in, the results have come down from the next section, where Tom had drawn somewhere in the 40s, either 44 or 46, I think, moody section. So as I said, you've got to be the right end of your section. Tom definitely wasn't. Luckily for me, unluckily for him, I think he came 5th. He ended up 5th in his section. So yeah, all good. We had won the UK champs, which I wanted that one. Weird one. It was the one that was missing off the list. So proper nice one to have. I mean, it ended up with 6 points to win. After that, everyone had 8 points. I think there were 4 or 5 people on 8 points, all tied for second, all came down to weight, which in the end, if I'd have come on 8 points, I'd have still won. But anyway, Stephen Forrester was second, Matty Pilley was third, Tom Callanan might have been 4th, Jimmy was 5th. Might have got that wrong, but I reckon I was right. You having that? I'm having that. So yeah, it's gone phenomenal. As I said, lovely, lovely thing. Lovely to have a sexy trophy as well. It was weird that when I wanted that trophy, a very posh one with a lot of prestige to it and some silly names. It actually started, and I didn't know that, the year I was born pretty much. I was 1 when that event started. So lovely, lovely one to win. And yeah, kicked the year off nicely, but now it's about concentrating, and next up is Match This. So that is what we're focusing on next. And we'll catch up with you when we've done a little bit more at Hayfield, and we'll see how that next thing goes. But yeah, that's how things have been going. Right, you lads, very, very sorry to interrupt your video watching.
How dare you?
Quickly, if you haven't already noticed, we have managed to write a book, haven't we?
Yes, we have,
Which
Jamie.
is full of all our very bestest methods and features or whatever else we do on this wonderful subject of fishing. So if you haven't had a look already, go and have a look at winningways.shop and buy one for yourself.